you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the road. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out. +2 said, I ain't all bad. For years, I watched my mother take the time at recess to review, go on home visits in the afternoon, buy combs and brushes and peanut butter and crackers to put in her desk drawer for kids that needed to eat, and a washcloth and some soap for the kids who didn't smell so good. See, it's hard to teach kids who stink. And kids can be cruel. And so she kept those things in her desk, and years later, after she retired, I watched some of those same kids come through and say to her, you know, Miss Walker, you made a difference in my life. You made it work for me. You made me feel like I was somebody when I knew at the bottom I was. And I want you to just see what I've become. And when my mama died 2 years ago at 92, there were so many former students at her funeral. It brought tears to my eyes, not because she was gone, but because she left a legacy of relationships that could never disappear. Can we stand to have more relationships? Absolutely. Will you like all your children? Of course not. And you know your toughest kids are never absent. Never. You won't like them all, and the tough ones show up for a reason. It's the connection, it's the relationship. And while you won't like them all, the key is they can never, ever know. So teachers become great actors and great actresses, and we come to work when we don't feel like it, and we listen to policy that doesn't make sense, and we teach anyway. We teach anyway because that's what we do. Teaching and learning should bring joy. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who were not afraid to think, and who had a champion? Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. Is this job tough? You betcha. Oh God, you betcha. But it is not impossible. We can do this. We're educated. We're born to make this. Thank you so much.
Okay. I hope we all enjoy the short video, right? That powerful speech by Rita, right? Rita Pearson, very, very powerful. So can you tell me a few things that you picked from that video? Quickly, can you type it in the chat box? What did you pick from that video? It's a 7-minute video. I'm going to copy the link and post to the group so that you can go watch it again when you're more settled. Apologies to those that said they did not get to hear the audio. I think it's your own connection. So I've posted it to the group. You can always click that to watch it on your own. But for those ahead, please, what did you learn? Tolu Lokpetalabi, teach with passion. Teachers are great actors, connecting with your students. Very important. A child cannot, there is no significant learning without significant relationship. And I think that is very powerful. As teachers, we need to build a relationship. A lot of us, our children are struggling, not because they are dull, not because they don't know. It's because you just have refused to build a relationship with them. Oftentimes, you bring your personal challenges into the classroom. And that's why she said teachers are great actors. You may have had a bad morning, but the moment you come into that classroom, in fact, the moment you get to the school entrance, you need to forget about the bad morning that you've had, and then you need to do the needful. And the needful is to what? Teach, and to bring the children up to where they should be, right? Teachers create everlasting impact. We also need to build the self-esteem of our people, of our pupils. A lot of us, right, have made our students to hate a particular subject simply because of the way we teach that subject. And that child, every time he or she sees that particular subject, will switch off because a teacher has made the subject to be uninteresting for them. Okay? So you need to be a teacher who will not give up on its learners, a teacher who will teach with joy, a teacher who understands the power of connection. Thank you, Esther Adbabiaka. Thanks for that summary. Children can't learn from teachers they don't like. Absolutely. So you see a child who is always sleeping in your class, it's not because you don't teach well. Perhaps the person has an issue with you as a teacher, okay? So it is important that we do relationship. It is important that we motivate our students. It is important that we connect with them. It's not just enough to get into the classroom and just teach on, okay? I hope I've been able to connect with you all this afternoon, isn't it? Aha, I hope you are settled and ready for the day's task. Okay, 3:20, let's move on quickly. Let's move on quickly. We're going to have to swap and bring on the person that we wanted to be our first speaker before. For some reasons, we're going to bring her in as a second, while we're going to bring in the second as the first, okay? So let me share the profile of Mrs. Adekogbe. Mrs. Adekogbe. Before I share that, let me remind us that we will create time for questions at the end of today's presentation. We will create time for questions at the end of today's presentation. And I also believe that Ovigwe will share a poll that we all need to quickly take before we go into the day's discussion. Okay, Ovigwe, please, let's have your base poll. Let's have the participants quickly take the poll. It's going to pop up on your screen. Just answer the questions and click on submit, okay? Answer the question and click on submit. I'm going to get Ovigwe to push that up now quickly. Okay. Okay, while we wait for Ovigwe to push that in, let me quickly read through Mrs. Adekogbe's profile. And then once it pops up, take the question, submit it while I read our profile. So Mrs. Ideolu Adekogbe is an author, education management consultant, school quality improvement, and development strategist. She's a trainer and also a public speaker. She is a certified management consultant and fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, IMC. She is a member of several educational reform groups. She's a volunteer in different projects and has been awarded by several institutions for impact in the sector. She is the CEO lead consultant. Okay, please hold on. I suspect that there is. Okay, I don't know why we have someone posting. Who is Lamidi Johnson? Okay. All right, I'll just continue, please. Sorry about that. She's a seasoned educator with over 2 decades of experience and has been a management and education consultant for over a decade. She has served at different levels and capacities in preschool, primary, and secondary schools, both in the public and private sectors in Lagos State. She has consulted in startup schools for interested investors, helping to build structures for schools, and is also a board member in some schools. Mrs. Adekogbe engages stakeholders to create awareness in adopting and supporting the new normal in education and remote learning. Above all, Mrs. Adekogbe is a teacher, and Mrs. Adekogbe is a member of the BAF faculty, okay? She also runs her own practice, but we have been honored for some time now to enjoy from our wisdom. So I present to you this afternoon a woman of passion, a woman that is very, very knowledgeable in the space where we work, and she will be taking us through how to build a career pathway in education. For those of you that think all there is just to teach and just forget about it, no, there is more to it. Mr. Adekwagbe, I'm going to hand over to you now, and I hope you can share your screen. Thank you. You're welcome. You need to unmute yourself, Mrs. Adekwagbe. You need to unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad to be with you. Thank you for making time to be at this webinar and for attending our two last sessions. We are here also to add to what you know and also learn together. I appreciate Bumi Adedayo Foundation for the great work they're doing in the education space, helping to ensure that we get it right because of our children. The future waits for no man, and the future also waits for us. But we as educators have a part to play. It is our responsibility to ensure that our children, the children in our classrooms, are properly tutored to be able to stand wherever they find themselves, irrespective of either public or private, or high class, middle, or low class. Education is education. The only difference is the environment. The content to be delivered is the same. So I appreciate you once again for being here. Today we'll be looking into, can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Mr.
Yes,
Femi,
we can see your screen. We can see your screen.
Good. So today we'll be looking into this topic, designing a 21st century pathway for career in education. Education is a sector that a lot of people feel when you are in, there is nothing else for you to do. All you only have to do is just be in the classroom and teach alone. But I tell you, that's not so. In education, you can move up the ladder. You can move from one step to the other, and then you can also achieve so much, in what you're doing in the education space. We are going to start off with the objective, the learning objective. At the end of this session, you will be able to establish the need for a career path. You as an individual will be able to determine and be able to, come to the realization that you need a career path. 2, define the concept career and do a need analysis of yourself. Also 3, you will be able to identify the skills needed for the emerging career opportunities and how to tap into it. Now 4, you apply the knowledge you have gained and you get started. So you apply the knowledge that you gain and you get started. And so can you still see? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can. We can see your screen.
Okay, great. Well, I'm just trying to maneuver the slides. Can I take off the, okay.
Would you want us to share from here?
I'm actually sharing, but maybe you share. I'm actually looking at the cursor to just a lot of other things are okay. Okay, can you see this screen very well? Can you see my screen right?
Yes, we can. We can see it.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so we need to do that. So the quick one just before we get to this. Why is there need to design a career path for yourself? Why do you think there is need for you to design a career path for yourself? I need you to quickly interact with the chatbot so that I can get to know. Why do you think it's important for you to design a career path for yourself? Quickly, can I get your responses from the chat room? Yes. Oh, technology, brilliant. To be ever relevant in the teaching profession, for proper direction, brilliant. This is wonderful, good. Yes, the world is changing. Globalization, digitalization, social, cultural and economic development creates new opportunities. The world is no longer where it used to be, but we also need to know that this is imposing a lot of challenge to us as educators, especially in our sector, managing our children, managing our parents. And this demand is also bringing a lot of other challenges that we have not yet seen. So, and for us as educators, it's critical for us not to be where we used to be. We need to take our next step. And the next step is, in fact, before now, COVID-19 launched the whole world, into another realm of operation. And the education sector, especially the teachers, cannot be passive. We cannot be unresponsive. You can't be unaware of the fact that things have changed. We cannot just keep mute and feel that the way things have been before now is the same way it will continue to be. We can't. We need to move with what is happening. We need to know that, for relevance, for information, education is not static. We need to create self-esteem. Brilliant. We need to get all of this on. And so new industries and professions are emerging, and an increasingly diverse and self-conscious workforce has to be prepared. Increasingly diverse workforce are to be prepared. The children that we are teaching, the children that we have so much knowledge about the world around us, especially about technology. And for us as educators, we can't just feel like nothing is happening. So the educators' consciousness needs to be awoken to the reality of the new world. Our consciousness needs to be awoken. We need to move up. We need to know that life is, the world that we are in is no longer where it used to be. And so what is career to you? The definition of career. Yes, can I get somebody say what's the definition of career? What is career to you? Yes. Oh, brilliant. We all agree that career is a profession. Wonderful, wonderful. And so career, as a profession, creates an opportunity for us to be able to move the ladder. Career is defined as a chosen pursuit and occupation, undertaken by, significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. Career is that take, a part of your whole life that you have taken time to build over a period of time. And it does not just end at one phase. There is room. It creates room from one level to the other. A career is a long-term, professional journey you may determine based on your passion and one that you engages in throughout your working life. It depends on you as an individual. But you need to know that this is what we find a lot of people in different job positions, and they are just there because they needed money. And I hope you are not in teaching because you just want to keep body and soul together. I hope you are in this profession because you know exactly what you want to do. You want to make impact. And because you know exactly what you want to do here, you need to motivate yourself. You don't need to wait for somebody to begin to talk to you and tell you, oh, this is what you should do. You should be your first, you should be the person who inspires yourself. Be your self-inspirator. Be the one to motivate yourself. You should be one who is ready to change, the narrative. You don't just allow things, happening. Parents, yes, the school say we should do this, and then the government say we should do this. But what do you think is right to be done? How do you think you need to engage your children? How do you think, as you get to engage, this is helping you even in your career path, helping you to move. You need to move towards your dream. You need to have yourself, ready, for the next move that you need to take. So what are those things that are required? What are the things that are required for you to be able to make the next move, in your career choice? You need to know about yourself. You need to design a career path as an educator. So designing a career path as an educator, it's referring you to create a brand. You need to have a professional brand, which means that you have to reflect. You need to reflect on yourself. You need to reflect on what you are doing. You need to reflect on what you are doing and then come out with your personal mission. You need to have a mission. You need to have, your belief. What's your belief? What's your belief system? What do you passionately look forward to? What is it that touches you and make you to move? You need to improve your knowledge. You need to have a vision. You need to set a goal for yourself. You need to walk around your belief. What's your belief? What do you believe in? What's your purpose? What is the thing that drives you as an individual? So you need to know your value as an individual. You are here, you are in this profession, and you want to improve yourself in this profession. What's your value? I remember so many years back, over 40 years back, I asked myself, I was just like, I think around 19, 20 years. And I was just taking a stroll in a compound, and I asked myself, Didiolu, what do you really want to achieve in life? What do you want to do? And I concluded in my heart so many years back that I want to make impact. I told myself I want to make impact. And I said, okay, for you to make impact, what are the things that you need to do? And so I began to say, okay, to make impact, I need to have touch. For me, I define it as having touch with people. I need to have contact, to have a direct contact with people. And so I narrowed down what I'm going to do, and I pitched my tent in the teaching profession. So I came out with that, and since then, for over 37 years, I've been working in this and pursuing this. And then you need to know yourself too. Apart from your value, what is your strength? Who are you? What can you do with ease? What do you naturally get to do without somebody pushing you? You need to know yourself. You need to know what your strengths. You need to know what your weaknesses are. You need to know what your opportunities are. You need to know what your threat. This is analyzing yourself. You need to do a need analysis. I want to pursue a career in education. I want to pursue a career in teaching. So what do I know about myself? What is so big about me? What's so relevant about me that is going to help me in the choice, that I'm going to make? Then number 3, you need to identify your skills. What abilities do you have? What is your ability? What skills do you readily have? Because now, yes, you are teaching. You even as a teacher, beyond your teaching skill, that you still need a lot of other things together. So what are these abilities that you have? What are these skills that you possess that's going to help you even in be able to attain that you are looking forward to? Then you need to do a research in the career options. There are a lot of career options in the sector, but you need to do a research. How do? You need to begin to look at what are the requirements for this career section. What are the things that I need to do? How can I get to this peak? What are you looking forward to? I remember the Honorable Commissioner of Education so many years before she became the commissioner, because of the things that were happening in the sector, she said, I wish that I'll be the Commissioner of Education. And when she eventually was, she said, you be careful of what you wish because you might have it. So she, in her, she shows that she wants to make a lot of impact in the sector by being, at the decision-making level. And I also told myself, I said, yes, I want to get to the peak of this career, of this teaching career. And yes, I have some milestones and I still have so many ahead. And after you have done the research, you have enough information. Then you link up your major and your career. Link up your major. What are you doing presently? What is the sector that you are in? What is the section that you are in teaching? What level are you? So, and then you look at where do you really want to go? What career are you really building? So what is the gap? What space? What is the space between where are you, where you are now and what's next to be done? And you do all of this and help you to position yourself and work on your, on your competitive advantage. Good. Yes, I can see your comments. Brilliant. You doing? Yes. Work on your device. Okay, somebody is not saying, fine, good. You need to do a self-assessment. Yes, you need to do a self-evaluation. You need to evaluate yourself and position yourself properly. Nobody's going to do that for you. It's you. If someone else probably had to evaluate you, probably may be feeling that, oh, the person is not being kind enough or good enough to you. But I tell you, you need to do that yourself. And doing your self-evaluation helps you to know where your strength lies and what to do. And then what are the career opportunities, in the sector? Begin to look forward to attaining. What are these career opportunities? One, we have educational consultants to trainers, educational consultants to trainer. How do you as a teacher, as a classroom teacher, as a subject teacher, get to this level? These educational consultants are people who are passionate, who have been teaching, they have been in that sector and they have been teaching, and they really feel that they can do more than they are doing. I use myself as an example. Like I said so many years back, I was canceled, my mom and a number of people canceled me because at that point I was like, okay, into teaching, and I found that this is what is great. And so I decided, in myself, and I said, okay, I went in for my grade 2, I did my NCE, I did my first degree, I did my second degree, and I said, fine, at this point here. And I began to walk in the space that I have, the places that I work. I began to move, I began to do all that I needed to do in that space. And I got to a point, exactly 2007, I said, wow, I would love to do more than I am doing. I would love to impact more, because I remember what I said so many years back, that I want to make impact. And so I decided and I said, at this point, what's next for me to do is I want to make a wider and a broader impact. And so what did I do? I said, okay, it's time for me to step out. If I remain in a school, I will only be able to impact the children in that school, but I want to impact more children. So what do? I stepped out. And I came into consulting. That when I come into consulting and as a trainer, what will I do? I will have contact with a lot of teachers, and through modeling, through imparting, and through bringing up people, they will be able to have contact with a lot other more children than I can as an individual. So educational consultancy is a career opportunity. Then learning innovation leaders. Learning innovation leaders, these are people who work in the sector. Like, I also use myself as an example. I got in as a subject teacher in the preschool, in the nursery, primary, and I moved up as a subject teacher. I began to move from one level to the other, because I was so full of passion. I do all I had to do with passion. My bosses recognized this, and there were opportunities. You see, I became a year tutor, I became a senior tutor, I became an HOD. I went and became a head of school. So I began to grow the ladder, and thank God for my bosses that were there. They gave me a lot of support. So for you as a learning innovation leader, you need to position yourself. And as a matter of fact, this COVID-19 period is a good time for you to engage in a lot of trainings. Do a lot of trainings and get yourself prepared. When you get back to school and there are issues to be discussed, the way you begin to provide solution, your boss get to know and say, wow, this is. And when the opportunity opens, they won't look elsewhere but for you. then edupreneurs. Who are edupreneurs? Edupreneurs are also people who have been in the sector, who have been in the classroom. And what happens to them? They find out that they can do a lot of other things, and so they probably wrote books, and they say, okay, I can do more. Okay, I've written books. Or some people have written books. Okay, I can sell these books that these other people have written. I can write books. I can build up. I can create content, and then they begin to sell educational materials. Begin to sell instructional material, begin to sell books, either written by them or by someone else. Then what about the learning innovation designer? The learning innovation designer is that other person who is also very passionate in designing education material, for the children, looking at the children as a base. So they design a lot of learning material and seeing the children, as the focus in such a way to be a blessing to them. And so now, how do you design a career path for yourself? You need to be very intentional and deliberate. You need to be deliberate. You must decide that you want to and take the action. Then 2, you need to set time and resources aside. You need to set time aside and resources. Resources you need to buy. Look at what you have. Look at the devices you have. You need a laptop. You need to get data. You must plan and put this aside to be able to pursue your career. Then you also set smart goals. You need to set smart, simple, attainable, time-bound goals that you can watch yourself making progress. Then also research. We said that earlier. You need to research into the career. Then also seek professional training in the relevant skill area. What area have you designed? What area have you chosen? You need to look for opportunities for training so that you can improve yourself. Then you also join professional associations for connection. You need connection, you need contact. There are lots of jobs out there. There are lots of opportunities where you are. You need to be rightly connected so that you can, be positioned to take hold. Then you need help. You need to seek counsel. Talk to friends, talk to colleagues, even talk to your children, talk to people around you, talk to your boss. You need to talk to them about what plans you have. Then learn what others are doing and what interests you. Learn what others are doing and what is of serious interest to you. Then also make personal connections. Decide in yourself to make personal connections by joining, looking out for, there are a lot of groups out there, by joining groups so that you can make impact. Ask for help. Let somebody come, talk to somebody about your need, and then somebody will be there to be of great help to you. Yes, also, you need to also know that people around you are there to be a blessing. Now, you need help, you need to make decisions. The next phase is for you to decide, on the skill. You need to know the basic skills that you require. There are basic skills that are required. You need technical skill. You need the 21st century skills. These 21st century skills are vast, and they are categorized into 3. You have the learning skill, literacy skill, life skills. Under the learning skill, you need to have critical thinking. You need to think. You need to be able to wow your thought. Yes, you need to be able to look at what you're doing and see. You have to be a model for the upcoming teachers. Yes, you need to be, teachers, you say a born teacher. Good. To be a born teacher, yes, it's great. You can be a born teacher, but you can actually be a teacher. You can be a great teacher even without even being born so, because a lot of people are in this profession now by way of, I would say maybe accident, because they didn't choose to, but they found themselves and they have been making headway. So you need to also be creative. You need to be creative. You need to think within, outside the box, tear the box into pieces and begin to look at opportunities. You need to collaborate with people. There are a lot of things you can do by yourself. Yes, a lot of things you need to do, put into what you do, work with people, collaborate with people, write books together. I did book for somebody, talk about groups, form groups together. And then you also need to be great communicator. You need to communicate, very well, express your view, let people know exactly, what you have in mind. Then under the literacy skill, you need information. The world that we live in is vast and information is flying around, so you need information. This is understanding facts, and figures. Listen, there are a lot of things are out there, and some of them are not real. I saw a post yesterday about Lagos State giving out a schedule, and I quickly sent it to one of the officials in the ministry and said, this is not from us. So, but if you see that information, it looks so well packaged, and you could have and and begin to share, and some people would have been misled. So for you, with design a career, you need to be on the lookout for information and ensure authenticate information. Then media literacy. This is understanding the method, and the outlet in which information is published. You need to know the social media, the angles. Where should you be at a particular time? The Facebook, the Twitter, Instagram. You need to do a lot of then technology. Technology is understanding the machine that makes information in this realm that we are in. Listen, technology has become the tool to drive education. Before now, it used to be one of the things you need to learn. As a matter now, it is what drives what you have to do. So for you, to be skilled and be able to get yourself on, you need that. Then the life skill, you need to be flexible. Don't be rigid. As you move in your career path and you begin to grow, listen to other people's view. Then exhibit leadership, take initiative, be productive, and then be sociable. You need to be able to relate and interact with people for you to move. So information is key and technology is powerful. Technology affords you, it shapes the future, it gives opportunity to people, and it also gives room for safe and secured environment. So, and what are those opportunities that you have? What are some careers in education? You be a content creator. And in addition to being a content creator, you can write a book and publish it. You can edit books for other people. You can edit for people. You can create lesson plan and sell. You can create YouTube streams. How do you do that? Just do your lessons, video your lessons and post it. Then you build an app. You can also create instructional materials, maps, letters, shapes. Then you also print, 3D printables. You can design that and get that on, and you make it available to people. You move on and you begin to take step after the other. What other opportunities you have? You can also be a sales rep for somebody, for publishers. Although these days now, books are going e-copy, and so, but even at that, you can still link up with with publishers and be their sales rep. You can start blogging, start writing. You can decide to study the education, like you're in the education space, and look at what is happening, what is prevalent as a kind of information, and what do you do? Put this information together, put this material together, and begin to sell. Great. And then you can be a digital photographer. Begin to take some very very outstanding photographs that people would want you to take photographs of them. Then graphic design, begin to start off with canvas. You need social media banners. What do you do with that? You do small banners. You do posters. You start designing, and somebody can say, do this for me. Then you be a virtual assistant. Who is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant in this sector is somebody who helps, maybe executives, school owners who are not so privy or who are not so tech savvy to manage their social media. You help them to manage their social media. You help them to manage their website, manage their Facebook, manage their Twitter, help them to put materials together. You can do that. A lot of people have started that job in this COVID section, and they're managing people and they get something out of that. You also do digital marketing. These days, you can order your breakfast in your house and it will be there for you to eat. And you have material to sell. Take snapshot. A lot of the stores that you have these days, they do a lot of sales online. Get yourself together, be on Instagram, take snapshots of what you do and post it. Put your contact number and you find people coming. You can do animation of your particular class. Then you can also design game, gamify and get that on, so, and that takes you on, and you begin to look at what is to be done. You come out and people will desire to use what you have. People desire, to look at your materials, and then they get back and you find out that you are making money out of what you have designed. Also, you need to know exactly where you are. So you need to ask yourself some basic questions. What do I need to do What is your career goal? Yes, I need you to interact in the chat room. What's your career goal? What is your strength? I told us we are going to do a need analysis. What's your strength? What are the relevant skills that you need to be able to achieve this goal? What resources do you need to commit into this? So all of these things, you need to create time for it. And then next thing, you have to take action. There's a current state that you are in, and there's a desired state. There's a place you want to get to. And what is the space between your current and your desired state is what is called your action plan. What's your plan? You need to put your plan in place. And finally here, there is no single pathway for educational career design. There are so many things that you can do. There are several emerging areas. Yes, so many things you can do. Can you put up some things that you can do? There are so many things you can get engaged with. Yes, you can. Yes, you enjoy writing. Brilliant. Be a great writer. Excellent communication skill. You are on top. Write books for preschooler. This is awesome and this is fantastic. You can design materials, you can do a lot of ideas and get ready. So there is no end to what you can do. Innovators move between careers, they move between opportunities, and they seek to move on, and they look for new fields to be able to explore. And you know what? You are able to do that. You are able to make this happen because this education sector is actually waiting for you to manifest. You are here and we're waiting for you to manifest so much more. And thank you so much for your time.
Wow. Please, can we put our hands together? Or can we type in clap, clap? Clap, clap, or type in thank you. Let's show some reaction to Mrs. Adekogbe's okay. So I'm seeing clap, clap. I'm seeing wow. I'm seeing thank you. I'm seeing good job, you, ma'am. I'm seeing clap, clap. Well done, ma'am. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for that powerful presentation. Right, teachers, use one word to or just pull out something that you have learned. Type out something that you have learned. Let's just quickly see that in the chat room. What have you learned from this just concluded session? What is your key takeaway? Before we go into the next session, your major takeaway from this just concluded session, what would it be? To be a motivational speaker. So a teacher is saying she wants to become a motivational speaker. Career path and not be stagnant. You must move on with a career path, right? And you are limitless as a teacher, right? And you need to be more than a classroom teacher. Very important. Yes, different ways of making money from the educational sector. I think I like that a lot. There is need for improvement in all you do. Awesome. Be ready to diversify as a teacher and be committed to it. And I think this topic is something that we may need to also, again, find time to dig deeper into. I've met a lot of teachers who do not know how to transit, okay? Who do not know how to transit. It is not a must that you spend 35 years in service. It's not a must. We need to understand this. It's not a must. Remember that if it's about pension, from 10 years you have qualified for pension. Isn't it? I don't know if they have changed the law now, but from 10 years you are qualified for pension, right? So you don't necessarily need to spend your whole years, right, in a particular service. You can build your capacity such that you can then go into other aspects, still staying within the educational sector, okay? So I'm not a professional educator, right? But I'm making impact in the educational sector. How much more you that you probably have your NCE or you have your B.Ed. So you need to start thinking wide. What else can I use all these my powerful skills to do, okay? Wonderful. So thank you very much, Ms. Adekogbe. I hope you still hang around a bit because of questions, right? I know that you have a lot on your tab this afternoon. if we have questions, we will just buzz you. You slide in, answer our questions, and then you'll probably continue what you need to go and do. So thank you very much, Ma. We appreciate this wealth of knowledge that you have shared with us, okay? So quickly, let's move on. This is 4 o'clock. We want to move on to the next facilitator for this afternoon, and that's no other person than Mrs. Nancy Ekpezu. Mrs. Nancy Ekpezu is an educator, really, but she's something more than an educator. She's very passionate about professional etiquette. You know, when I first met her and the way she reacted to a particular behavior of a teacher, you know, I knew straight on that this woman has more. She has a lot of concern for this sector, and we're going to be able to do a lot with her. So quickly, let me just share my screen while my colleague makes a co-host so that she can also share her screen and take us through this next session. Nancy Ekpezu is a professional administrator, management consultant, and life coach. She has worked in the education sector for over 25 years, 15 of which were at the school leadership level. She is the founder of the Facebook group, Educational Administration, where she shares context on school administration, management, and personal development. And I want you to lay an emphasis on personal development. Nancy has spoken at several reputable platforms, including a TEDx talk, she's currently the lead consultant and trainer at Pezu Smith Consulting. She is the author of the trending book, Dear Educator, which was published in May 2019 and is available on rhbooks.com.ng. You can see the slide, the link. Nancy has a passion to see organizations in Nigeria and West Africa function effectively with proper processes and procedures for suitability. She served in performance management, professional ethics, policies, procedures, and customer service. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of also adding that she is an administrator at arts and a member of the BAF faculty. She facilitates at BAF, and we're happy to have her this afternoon. And she will be taking us through etiquette and personal grooming for educators, okay? Never again should any educator be looked down on. So we want educators to come and take their place, okay? So while we bring her on, I want us to show some love in the chat room, show your appreciation. Madam Nancy, please take the floor from now. Okay, you need to unmute yourself.
I've unmuted, but I'm not allowed to.
Try again. Try again.
Okay. I wasn't allowed to share my screen, but it's allowed now.
And you can make your screen fuller.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that now.
Thank you.
Is it fuller now?
Not yet.
Is it fuller now?
Okay.
Yes, it is. It's fuller now. We can see the screen clearly.
I'm super excited to actually be here this afternoon. And like Mr. Martin, Femi Martin said, I'm really, really particular about professionalism. And I love to see teachers package themselves in a way that nobody can look down on them. And it is my pleasure today to just share a few tips about professional etiquette for educators. It's a topic I've taken several times, and each time I take it, I do it something really differently because there are so many angles to professionalism and to etiquette. And one thing I want us to know is that every profession has its etiquette, and the education space is not an exception to this. Okay, so at the end of this session, we'll be introduced to or reminded about professional etiquette with our students, with our staff, with our parents, and with our stakeholders. I do know that a lot of us are actually very professional, but sometimes we just need to be reminded because we forget all the little details that really make us, the professionals that we are. Or sometimes we get so driven by passion that we forget that there's a professional angle to actually being an educator or a head of school or administrator or, whatever angle that you're looking at it from. So that is actually a major objective that you'll be introduced to if you have not been, and I don't believe there's anybody who has not. That's actually my assumption. And then we'll be reminded, because I do know that quite a good number of us are already very, very professional, but we just need to be reminded or even to be told that we're actually doing the right thing and we're on the right track, okay? Okay, so let's have a look now first at the outline. We'll have a look at it. Incidentally, I will not be focusing too much on personal grooming. I'll touch more on etiquette, but there's a need to have etiquette and personal grooming, the need for etiquette in professional relationships, professional etiquette with students, parents, and colleagues, and the admin or the people that actually make up, the leadership team of your school, and then how to develop etiquette and personal grooming. And of course, we'll have a question and answer time. I will actually make sure that I take time to check the comments that I hear. I see there are a whole lot of people, and I'm so delighted for this opportunity to be the one taking this. So let's type, and I need to hear from you. What do you understand by etiquette? What do you understand by etiquette? I would like to see the comments because I know this is nothing new to anybody, and it would be nice that I hear what exactly you think about etiquette. I can't see the comments. Is there something, sorry, I can't see the comments incidentally. Oh, okay, I've seen some here. I can see some. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so etiquette refers to the code of practices and polite behavior among a professional group or society. There is no profession that does not have etiquette. If you get into a doctor's room, you'll see that the way he or she conducts him or herself is very professional. And this is the same thing that we expect of us, even as educators. And this is very, very, very important. Okay, so etiquette basically is the code of practices and polite behavior among a professional group or society. Why is it necessary to observe a professional etiquette? Why is it necessary to observe professional etiquette? That's what we're going to be looking at now. I can see some comments here. Okay, so, there's actually a poll. Can we just have that quickly? Can we have that poll quickly? It's showing on your screen, I'm sure. Are you taking it? Okay, I can see comments coming in. I want to believe a good number of people are already taking that. Okay, 14 people have voted, 18, 20. Let me leave that a bit so that we have a lot more people. Let me just give a few more seconds for that poll. 45, 9, okay, 54. I can see the numbers are going up a bit more. Okay, I'm actually ending the poll now. I'm so sorry. I hope that will not offend some of you. Oh, we have over 100 that have taken, 120 now, 24, 120, 100. Okay, so I'm ending it. Is that okay? Okay, so I end, and that's fine to go. Okay, so I'm sharing the results with you. Can you see that? So everybody says that general professional etiquette includes the following except right to exhibit habits like smoking and drinking. That was 79% of the participants, of those who took the poll. And then professional etiquette helps us achieve the following except serves no purpose for education. We have 80% for that, and some say it helps us, it depicts us as moral, as role models for the students to emulate. Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks for all of your, so I'm sharing the results again for the second one, and I'm stopping. Thank you. Okay, so let's have a look quickly now. Now, the need for professional etiquette. There's something I know about etiquette. It has to depict us as role models for students to emulate. In the education space, we cannot overemphasize the importance of us as role models, because really children learn more from us than from what we do than from what we say. No matter what you tell a child, you know, if you say sit down and you are standing, most likely he or she's going to stand because you're standing. And it's the same with manners, with etiquette, with morals. Which is what we do that the children copy. And so when we are professional, it depicts us as role models for the children to emulate. And it helps to foster better working relationships among colleagues, among subordinates and supervisors. It makes generally for a better society. It earns us respect and confidence from other people. Now let's look at a few things about the general professional etiquette. Basically, this will include your style of dressing, how properly you dressed and how well, the style of communication with students, and then the respect for everyone. It will have to do with maintaining confidentiality with students' issues, punctuality, creating boundaries in relationships, and also how you handle habits like smoking and drinking. So let's start with dressing properly first. Let's start with dressing properly. I'd like to take a poll again here. I think there's one I got on dressing. Okay, it's already, I think we already took that. Okay, so basically, for an educator, okay, yeah, it's here. Okay, as a teacher, what would you wear to school on Fridays? Can we take that quickly? What would you wear to school on Fridays if you were a teacher? Of course, most of us are teachers, so what would you wear? It says casual clothes, party clothes, corporate party dress, and traditional wears. Wow, so many people have already voted. Almost 100 and 140, over 150 now. Okay, I'm gonna end that now. Just a few more seconds and I'll end. A 190 people, 195 now. That's great. Just a few more seconds and we're done. I think when we have 200 people, I'll stop. Okay, who is the 200th voter? Okay, we have over that now. All right, so I'm ending and I'm sharing the results as well with you. Okay, so 64% say that they will wear traditional wears, 11% will wear corporate party dresses, and 0% say they'll wear party clothes, and 25% say they'll wear casual clothes. Okay, so we'll have a look at that now, and then we'll see what it is. So basically for dressing, I like people to know, every educator to know that not everything is acceptable in the classroom. If there's anything you're wearing that will not allow children to concentrate on learning, then there is a problem. Because really, communication, even the way you dress is a kind of communication to the children. And as educators, we are primarily involved in a lot of communication. And the way we dress tells a lot of stories, tells a lot even to the children. I like, to say to people that every organization has its dress code. I've worked in a school where I had to wear a suit every day as the administrator because it was clearly stated in the policy manual that everybody, this is a British school and this is our standard of dressing. Everybody must wear a suit to work, and that was beautiful. I've also worked in a school where we had an American culture. It was a bit more relaxed. I could do my jeans and just throw on a blazer. And so I would say that there is really no one rule kind of fits all for every kind of organization, but you do what works in your organization and keep it very professional. If your employers and insist that what you need to wear is maybe corporate casual, then you stick to it and make sure that your clothing for school are actually tailored around that style of what is acceptable for you to be able to do your job. If you are, for example, in a preschool, I would very much doubt that you'll be, tying gele and looking all too corporate, because the kind of play and stuff that go on there would need you to dress in a very relaxed manner so that you're able to do your job beautifully. And if you're an administrator in such a school, you'll also need to dress to depict your position. So for dressing, I would say do what works for your school, but everybody has an inner compass that tells them where they're not professionally dressed. But when it is clearly stated in the handbook or the manual, then it becomes a lot easier for everybody to adopt what is expected of them in every particular organization. Then our etiquette also has to do in the style of communication with our students. I know we are basically, for those of us who are Nigerians, there's this culture that says that you're older and so you can talk to the younger ones the way that you like. And I'd like to say that there's a professional manner to talk to students. We speak to students with respect because respect is reciprocal. If you need students to respect you as an educator, then you need to also be able to respect them. Okay, so the style of communication with students has to be professional. Both the language that you use and the kind of language that you even choose, the kind of words that you choose, to say to them. Then we need to respect everybody who works with us. Whether you're the boss, whether you're the subordinate, whether you're the supervisor, or whether your colleagues are the same level, there is a need for everybody to respect one another on their positions and to give room for others to excel. Okay, then maintaining confidentiality with students' issues. When students discuss issues with you, and they're not meant to be public affair, okay? So if a student, for example, has issues and you're the guidance counselor or a teacher handling that student directly, there is a need to maintain confidentiality of the student's details. You do not, for example, go discussing in the staff room that this child has a problem with masturbation when he has confided in you as a guidance counselor. That's not something for the whole school to hear because it's actually an issue this child has and you are stepping in as a professional to try and handle the issue with him or her. And then, of course, also students' details, their family details, because in admin in schools, we get to come in contact with a whole lot of materials, and some of these materials may be confidential. Some of the data and information that we handle may be confidential. There is a need to maintain confidentiality. It portrays us as professionals, not to discuss students' private issues or their parents. Sometimes you may have to come in contact with handling students whose parents are having a divorce and they've confided in you what the issues are. Those are not issues to actually make public in any way at all. They are issues to be handled confidentially and to retain them. So I feel a bit hot, so I'm trying to put the fan on. Okay, so that is it. And then for punctuality, when we are punctual, we lay the example for the students of how to behave. Because if a student sees that his or her teacher is punctual, then they will learn that from you as well. But a situation where a teacher comes in late and then expects that the children will be early to school, then there's going to be a problem. Because like I said earlier, the children learn from us. They learn attitudes, they learn behaviors, they learn morals from the things that we do daily. Then boundaries in relationships. There's a need to define boundaries in relationships. If you are a male teacher, there's a way you relate with a female student. I normally make rules where I work as the administrator that no teacher has a right to keep female students in a closed room with no other teacher there. And I have reasons for that. It's for the protection of the children. For example, you're a music teacher and then there's a girl right with you in the music room, maybe after school, and you're trying to teach her the piano. You need to set boundaries. Sometimes we take it for granted that these are colleagues and so we can do anything. If someone sends you some funny stuff on WhatsApp and you think that you can just forward to everybody, these are not professional. You need to know what is acceptable, in your colleagues' lives and what is not. So sharing materials that are offensive or that people do not want to see does not actually portray us as professionals, especially like what Mrs. Madekogbe said about confirming information. Whatever you're sharing needs to be properly investigated and confirmed before you share it, even if the information looks right. So all of these have to do with boundaries as well. And then, of course, habits. There's no staff handbook that is going to tell you do not smoke in your private life. No administrator has a right to define your private life. No employer has a right to. But there's such a thing as professional boundaries, even when it comes to your habits. For example, when I'm a school administrator in a school, we do not serve alcohol at school events. I do not allow it for any reason. And I do not permit smoking in the school premises. I don't care if you're a chain smoker or if you drink a whole gallon of beer every morning. So long you do it in a way that you do not come to work and you're sleeping or throwing up the beer or initiating the children into smoking and drinking, or you do not do it in a way that you slept the whole night and you come to work and you're sleeping, that is fine. But such habits are not permitted in the school premises at all. So habits like smoking and drinking are no habits when it comes to. I have pictures here of what professional dressing could be like, but this is not to mandate that on anybody. It's just to say you could have something as decent as this. But of course, like some of you said in the poll, you could choose to dress casually on a Friday, depending on what your school allows. Some schools do maybe T-shirts that are customized for the staff, and that is beautiful. Some will tell you can do jeans on a Friday, or some schools allow traditional wears, so long it's not something that looks like a party wear or too dressy, and it allows you to actually go about your job. That is fine. But I want to chip in for the ladies. Anything that is so short that the kids, maybe senior students, start whispering at you, you may think that you may have to have a rethink about such. Or anything that is so skimpy that when you bend to either write maybe or do stuff in the class and it makes you totally uncomfortable, you may have to have a rethink. Any cleavage that is so low that you feel uncomfortable to bend when you need to, then you may need to have a rethink about such an outwear and an outfit. We've already done this poll actually. Okay, we've done this already. Then etiquette with students. Let's have a look at etiquette with students. There's a need for confidentiality, and I've explained this before now. There's a need to respect our students and to know that they are humans and need to be spoken to in a very professional manner. There's a need for social media boundaries. I think I need to talk a bit about this. For social media handling, boundaries, I want to say that it's very unprofessional to take pictures of your students in the class, no matter how passionate or how excited you are about the activities you've done with them, and then you go and upload this on social media without the permission of the parents. Schools do not even have a right to bring in children into their adverts on flyers, on billboards, or whatever without permission, written permission and documented, okay, from the parents. Because for security reasons, some parents may not want their children's faces on social media. And so there's a need to have social media boundaries. And in social media boundaries, I also want to say that it's very unprofessional to run down your employers. I see that a lot in the education space, where a teacher is angry with his or her employer and decides to say everything and anything, on social media. And that is not nice at all, not nice in any way at all. So there's a need to make sure that all of the things that go on in your school, the not so nice ones, are kept within your school and not brought to social media. So we do not wash our dirty linen in public. We should not have kids' pictures thrown all over social media without permission from their parents. We should not also have people, maybe even from colleagues or things that happen in the office discussed indiscriminately on social media. And that schools do not have a right to bring in children and use them for adverts for whatever reason. Even if they made the best results and you want to showcase it, there has to be express permission from their parents before you can do this. And so I want to say that professionalism involves setting role model examples for our students, and that is it. Then for professional etiquette with parents, sometimes we get to like some parents, and then we take it on that they are, we start relating with them in a way that we forget that they are actually our clients, our organization's clients. So there's a need to maintain boundaries even with parents. You don't just go visiting parents and getting so charming with them that you reveal activities or information about your school indiscriminately to them. They should be privy to information that concerns them and their children. And I also want to say that at parents' conferences or maybe events that you have, such as open days, where parents come to find out about performance of their children and that of other children, it's not professional to start discussing other children's results or performance with other parents. You may give a general analysis of how the class is performing, but if a parent is so curious to know about a particular child who is not his or her child, please maintain confidentiality and let them know that your business is to reveal information about their own child, and maybe in comparison with the general performance in the class. And of course, with parents, they have a right to open communication about what goes on about their own children in school. And we should set proper boundaries. And the same way, they may not like details about them exposed on social media as well. Okay, so respect for colleagues. I've said a bit about that instead of just sharing things, you see things that you just start forwarding indiscriminately. There is a need to make sure that you do not do that. You confirm information and you give colleagues their boundaries as well. There's something about relating with people every day. Sometimes you get to the point where you become too familiar and then you begin to take one another for granted, which shouldn't be. So, and then also in the use of shared facilities, you share toilets with colleagues. Always leave the toilet, better than you met it. I'm seeing some blotches on the slides. I'm wondering what I have done or where that is coming from. Okay, so always make sure that shared facilities, when you have shared facilities, you use them with consideration that other people are going to use them as well. And it would be nice that you leave the place better than what you met. I've also talked about confidentiality and discretion and courteous communication and then professional boundaries. And then I want to say one more thing: avoid forming cliques in the office. It's unprofessional. Okay, that in a way that frustrates what other people are trying to do. And then additionally, behavior at meetings should be professional. Take turns to speak. We shouldn't have rowdy meetings just because everybody has something to say. We take turns to speak and we do so in a very respectful manner, respecting other people's opinions while they also respect us. Then I want to touch quickly on this because my time is almost up. How do we develop etiquette and personal grooming? Number one, read about what is acceptable in your workplace. In as much as you have an idea about what works everywhere in every, professionally and in etiquette, in every area in education, there's a need to know what works, particularly in your own workplace. Then keep to the terms of your contracts with your employers, and receive feedback about your etiquette from your colleagues and others. At this point, I would like to say thank you so much, and I look forward to answering the questions that we have and comment. And I'm making comments and checking the comments that are actually there. You may connect to me on my website, www.Nancy, and get on my YouTube channel, Nancy Ekpezu. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm seeing now. Thank you so much for all of the comments. Okay, I'm seeing comments. Beautiful presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have questions at this point so that I can take the questions? Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Mrs.
Thank you so much.
Epezu.
Okay, some people are asking for my number. Okay, I'll type it right here 0803 5880367. Okay, so that's my number 0803 5880367. That's my
Thank you,
WhatsApp.
Mr. Epezu. Can we please put our hands together for Ms. Epezu to show our appreciation? Can we put our hands together to show our appreciation? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a powerful one. We need to start typing what we pulled from that session. Just one key message that you're taking away. How to manage a colleague. Oh, okay, that's a question. I'm sure Vigwe is capturing that. How do we manage a colleague who doesn't show professional etiquettes? Okay. Quite insightful, wonderful. Aha, thank you very much. Madam Nancy, we're going to have a question and answer session. So just hang in there. That's when we get to treat all the questions that that we have from the audience. So I'm going to hand over shortly to Ovigwe, my colleague, who is going to moderate the question and answers. I'm sure she must have highlighted a few questions from Mrs. Adekogbe's session, as well as your own session. We're going to dive right into that. Ovigwe, if you're there, please unmute yourself, and then let's know who the question is being directed at, and then if you can, let's batch it so that we can save time. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I think I have just one question here, which is the last one you just read out for Miss Nancy Epezu, which is how do we manage a colleague who doesn't show professional etiquette? I think that's the only question I have here currently on the chat box. Let's keep coming. So I think she can address that first, while others drop in their questions.
Okay, first, thank you for that question. That happens quite, often where there are no properly defined policies and procedures and code of conduct for teachers. So if there's such a thing, it would be nice to report that to the administration. First of all, bring it to the attention of the colleague involved in a very polite manner. And if you do not see a change, it would be nice to escalate that to the school administrator. It may mean that there's something missing in your code of conduct that has allowed that behavior, or it may be that it is already stated and this colleague has actually flouted that. So whichever the case is, it's something you can address one-on-one. I believe communication helps. And if that doesn't help, then you move it on to the school administrator to handle that colleague, especially when it is something that occurs quite often and makes you very uncomfortable. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry. I said, okay, I think I have one other question here for you. How do you balance professional etiquette and good cordial relationship among colleagues?
Okay, first of all, there's a need to be cordial with colleagues. Like I said, you draw boundaries. Okay, when it comes to conduct of teachers or what should be for the school, what is going to help the school, then you don't bring in chummy behaviors above what should be professional. So you will know when somebody is overstepping their boundaries. If, for example, you're a lady and you're friendly with a male member of staff and he just comes and slaps your buttocks in the workplace, that's beyond cordial relationship. In that case, you could say your colleague is acting unprofessionally and they need to report that. But generally, when you have friends in the workplace, you should always define things and let them know that your job comes first and friendship comes second. And if you're in a position where you need to report a colleague or who is a friend for doing something that is unprofessional, please go ahead and do it. Always put professionalism above friendship in the workplace. but then there's a need to balance it with, cordiality. Yeah.
Okay, so I have two more questions here. Okay, how can a teacher relate with a saucy parent? That's one. Then how do you handle an administrator who doesn't have respect for subordinates? So the first one is, how can a teacher relate with a saucy parent?
Well, I must say that administrators actually get under a lot of pressure sometimes and they may lose it. But if it's an attitude thing, then it may need to be reported to the board because every administrator is expected to respect their subordinates. And if they do not do that, and it's something everybody has noticed and confirmed, and I'm saying that's beyond just the pressure that comes with the job sometimes. Sometimes people may just be really under pressure and could take it out once in a while. I'm not saying that's proper, but that happens a lot in management. But if you really see that there is a lack of respect for subordinates, then it is something that is that needs to be addressed, and the board will need to see into that and call the administrator to order. Nobody has a right to look down on subordinates. So the fact that they are subordinates does not make them less than you are. You're only playing a role there. As a matter of fact, you should respect them. That is actually what is expected.
I guess you can also say, I have a question here on the chat box for you, talking about how a teacher, okay, at what point should a school is moving? Please, can you just go through the chat room? There's a sensitive question there for you.
At what point should a school counselor a teacher reveal a sensitive information like masturbation to parents, where we know some parents may mess up things? The truth is, we have a relationship with parents. There's a homeschool connection that makes schools function effectively, and you cannot hide things that are sensitive from parents, in as much as you want to protect the child, because eventually the parents will get in the know. So long they are minors, there's a need to involve their parents with the things that they do. But what I'm saying is that at that level, there's a need to divulge that information to the parents, so that with the aim of them helping, with what the school is trying to do to help that child overcome it. But what I'm talking about is a situation where that issue is discussed with other teachers, discussed in the staff room, and everybody in the school starts looking at such a child in a very funny way. If it's about involving the parents, yes, there will come a time where you need to get the parents involved because you have a partnership with them. You cannot run school alone without the parents. There's a homeschool connection that makes schools work. I hope that helps. Hello? Hello, Vigwe.
I can hear you. Okay, I think that will be all. Will be taken. That's all will be taken for now. I would like to hand over right now. There are questions coming though. If you have time, she's dropping a number. You can send to her. She'll respond. But I would like to hand over right now to Mr.
Sorry,
Martins.
I think we can take more questions. Since Mrs. Adekobe is not here, let's just use this opportunity to take these questions. So just let us take questions for another 7 minutes, then we'll begin to wrap up.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so Miss Nancy, there's one more question here. How do you correct a colleague who dresses in an inappropriate manner, but does not see anything bad in addressing? How can that be corrected?
Is the person that addressing that issue as an administrator or as a colleague or a friend in the workplace? That would also determine the context. Because when such issues are noticed, I worked in a school once where we had about 2 youth couples who were really young, of course, and full of life, and they thought that the best way to feel cool was really to dress in some very crazy ways. And I had to call them to order nicely in my office. I know that dressing is a very sensitive issue, and telling someone that they do not have a dress sense is normally something nobody would want to hear. It's like telling someone you have body odor. Those are usually very sensitive issues to handle as administrators. But if it is from the administrator, there's a need to call such a person So if you're saying you're correcting that as a colleague, the way you go about it would be like just chipping it in. But if it's a supervisor or an administrator, you could just invite the person to the office and say, oh, by the way, I was checking through the internet and I saw that there are some really nice outfits that someone of your figure or whatever could be. Have you considered this? Talking about such issues could be very, very dicey. So the approach you use should be very professional, and you should make sure you do it in a kind way, because the truth is everybody thinks the best about themselves. So as they're looking at the mirror, what they're seeing is very different from what you're seeing, depending on their image of themselves. And the way you go about telling them that, this dressing doesn't quite fit here, has to be done in a nice way, that they get it. And if after that they do not get it, then you have to say it in a stronger way and maybe follow up. If it's outrightly flouting your dress code for the organization, then there may have to be a memo done to that effect. It could be a general memo to everybody, but the person will get the message. Now, that is just a reminder to everybody that this and this and this is our dress code, and we do not accept this, that. Okay, after you've had the one-on-one with them, if they don't get it, then you may need to follow up with a memo, and subsequently you say it in a stronger way. But I must say, generally, I'm addressing body odor as a school administrator or a colleague, or even with anybody, addressing issues that have to be addressing. They are very sensitive issues, so they must be handled in a tactful manner. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to look for more questions. I'm sorry if I might have skipped your questions, but you can still drop them again. But while we're waiting for more questions to come in, since there's still time, I would like us to quickly click on this link I'm posting on the comment section right now. We need your feedback to improve on our sessions that will be, subsequent sessions we'll be having. So I've posted a link now, so we need your feedback. Kindly click on the link and send in your feedback. Thank you.
Okay, I think there are people raising their hands there.
I can't see any more questions.
All right, so people raising their hands should type questions. We're not going to unmute people to say their questions out. If they have questions, they should please type it there. Then, Madam Nancy, can you type your phone number and post to the group chat, because they're asking for your phone number. The link to take your feedback via a survey has been posted. Please endeavor to just click on the link and give us a quick feedback from this session. Also, Vigwe, please post the link to join the Facebook and the WhatsApp group. Some people are asking for the link to join the WhatsApp group. Please help us post that so that they can, that's the one that is not yet filled, the WhatsApp group that is still accepting people, okay? So while we do that, I'd like to begin my appreciation. We want to appreciate everyone for their time, but I have two very important information to give. On Tuesday, that's next week Tuesday, we'll be having an Insta live session. That is a live session, more like a question and answer session on Instagram. That's on the foundation's Instagram account at Bumi Adedayo Foundation. So if you have not followed us, please go ahead now to follow at Bumi Adedayo Foundation. I'm going to type it, so you can just click on the link, go to the page and click on follow. Oh, okay, Bumi Adedayo Foundation. So just click on that link. I just posted it now, and go and like our page. The reason you need to like and follow is because we're going to have a session next week. The session next week will be dedicated to testimonials. So it means that all of you that are there participants are required to join the session. Okay, if you can hear me, please indicate in the chat box that you can hear me. I just got feedback that maybe some people cannot hear me. I can hear, my mic is on. Okay, so you can hear me, all right. So next week, Tuesday, we're going to host an Insta live session for no other person, but all of you are participants. So what we're going to do is we're going to be inviting you into the Insta live session to talk about your experience for just 1 minute. Okay, so we invite you. Okay, now let's review that. Sorry. Let's talk about your experience for 3 minutes, not 1 minute. Okay, so it's a session for 60 minutes. It means that we can take up to 20 people, into the Insta Live video. So we want you to come and share your experience so that others can learn from what you've learned, and others can also join us on this session. I'd also like to say that every one of you is supposed to be a promoter of this session. So please don't leave the work to us alone. You know, it's a charitable venture. It's not as if you're being charged for this. So let's spread the love. We still have more people that can join us. Obigwe, please send the WhatsApp link. They're asking for the WhatsApp link. Please post it to the platform, or you send it to me on WhatsApp so I can copy and paste. So get this thing. So it will be posted before we leave. I'm going to make sure that we post that before we leave. The WhatsApp link will be posted, okay? Apologies for that. So yes, like Mr. Akweji is saying, invite a friend or a colleague to join us for next week. It's very important. Invite a friend or a colleague. Forward them the link to register, okay? Like I'm going to share now about next week's expectation. It is not too late to join us. We can accommodate at least 500 people, at least, okay? So please, let's make it a point of duty for, you can see what we're expecting to have next week. We are having super veterans. Mrs. Ayokweju Ndidiaka is one of our consultants and one of our program advisors at the foundation. So she's going to unleash leadership, learning, and motivation strategies for school faculty. So if you know a school owner anywhere, get them in. If you know a senior teacher, you know, that is aspiring to become a school owner someday, get them in. Invite your own school administrator so that they can come and learn how to manage you and give you the room you need to grow, okay? The Instagram link, I'm going to share that again. And then we also have Mrs. Tinola Olufobi. She is a veteran consultant. She's one of our facilitators at BAF, and she's contributed tremendously to the work that we do. So you don't want to miss it. She's talking about school improvement. Remember what Mr. Adekobe told us today, that you don't need to think that you are a teacher only. You can do much more than teaching, okay? So come and learn these things and look for somebody out there who needs it. So that's my first announcement. The second announcement is regarding the 1st of September. The 1st of September. On the 1st of September, we are bringing Google. The 1st of September is a Tuesday. So we are bringing Google. We're going to get the banners out, but we want to start announcing now. It's just about 3 weeks away. Google is coming to join us to train us on a particular application that can be used for literacy improvement, okay? So save the date, 1st of September. It's going to be just at the same time, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, okay? 1st of September, please ensure that you save that date. It's going to be very powerful. We're going to share the necessary announcement banners before then. All right, on this note, let me check the chat room again if there is. Okay, so the link to view the YouTube video, the YouTube recording for today has just been posted. If you want to know us on Instagram, go to Bumi Adedayo Foundation. Go to Instagram and then click on Bumi Adedayo Foundation. Next week is 3 p.m. 3 p.m. every Thursday until September 10th, okay, is when we meet again. Thank you very much to all of you who have made our time. I want to especially thank our facilitators, Mrs. Adekogbe Dideolu, as well as Mrs. Nancy Ekpezu. Thank you very much. You all were amazing. We thank you for your words of knowledge. We're not paying you for this, but you're just doing this as a responsibility to the education community. So we appreciate you, and